Hey everyone, welcome. Today is the final day for the Reprogram Yourself Challenge, 30 days where we have gone so deep in your unconscious mind, in regulating your nervous system. I have given you so many tools and so many techniques and so many new practices and so many new perspectives to really help you to look at personal development differently, manifestation differently, life differently, reality differently, because some of those perspective shifts, they were major, right? There was a lot going on. So first of all, I want to say if you have made it to day 30, I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Like I have said in the middle of this challenge, oftentimes people end up falling off, even when there's a 5-day challenge. Everyone shows up for day 1. 90% of people show up for day 2. Day 3, we're at 75. By day 4, we're at like 35%. And by day 5, maybe we got 11%. So if you are the 11% that made it this far, I'm so proud of you. If you bought this challenge and you've got lifetime access to it, then you can come back to these practices and these perspective shifts to remind yourself or to reintegrate, or when you notice that there's a new belief that you want to transcend. Because at the end of the day, it's normally not one time of doing something, right? Because even when we have beliefs, we have linked up beliefs. If you are in the money game, I talk about dissolving links with beliefs. And that's not something I'm going to get very deeply into today. But what you have to understand is when you have a belief of something, I want you to think about the metaphor of the fact that your mind is a garden. So you're always planting things in here. So even think about the root system underneath the dirt. Oftentimes these roots are connected with other roots. If you've ever pulled weeds, you've probably noticed this. You're pulling one up and then there's this big ball of roots, and sometimes it's interconnected. So what happens is, maybe we are going to talk about this in a little length today. So what happens is you have one belief, let's say it's a dandelion right here, which is technically a weed in American culture anyway, herbal medicine in other cultures, but let's not go into that rant today. But you have a dandelion right here, and then you have another one right here. Oftentimes, if you pull up this dandelion, this belief, this dandelion that's over here, this belief that you might not have even been paying attention to, that you don't realize is actually connected at a root level, when you pull this one up, this one also starts breaking free from the ground too, because on a root level, they are this big ball of roots and they are connected. So what happens is, now you know, if you've ever gardened before, if you just cut the dandelion at the stem and you're like, oh, that's good enough, you can't see it anymore. That didn't change the fact that the root belief is there, right? Like, that doesn't change the fact that the roots are still there. That doesn't change the fact that the belief is still there. And what a lot of people do in manifestation work is they're cutting their beliefs at the stem. And so they're like, okay, I did this on a conscious level, or I did this once. We're good. But at the end of the day, you just might not be able to see it as much anymore because you did get rid of the conscious piece for the most part. But on an unconscious level, it's just a matter of time, or until situations move a little differently, that you end up having to meet this belief in a new pattern that you're in, or in a new situation, a new circumstance. Like, the belief is always going to end up rearing its head. That dandelion's always going to pop back out unless you get to the root. And this is so synchronized with what's happening in your mind. And honestly, as above, so below, because the root system, the electrical circuits in your brain, they all look very similar. But so what a lot of people are doing is they're cutting the dandelion and then they feel like they got it, but this root is still there. And then they aren't looking at the fact that there's this other dandelion right here, this other belief that is connected to that one. So even if they cut that one at a conscious level, there's still going to be an unconscious root. And then there's also going to be other beliefs that are rooted in and connected to that belief. So what we ultimately always want to be doing, and which I'm sure you are completely aware of after 30 days together doing this challenge, that the way that we get those roots up, and not just the individual root, but the collective root system, is by using unconscious, subconscious reprogramming tools and techniques like I've given you so far. But it's not just about doing it one time and then that root is completely gone. Depending on how deeply rooted that belief is, depending on how many other beliefs are connected to it, that's really going to indicate whether this is something that you can do a few times and you'll feel squeaky clean and good, and then you'll be manifesting that result. Or it could be something that is more highly programmed, deeply rooted in you. So there's going to be more unconscious work that you're going to have to do. And even when you do the unconscious work, when you meet yourself at new edges, when you are manifesting something at a bigger scale, the way our human minds deem things big and small, going to resurface old beliefs that you really thought that you got to, but you got to those beliefs and that root at that level. And now that you're at a new edge, you have to meet yourself there again. And while the beliefs might change, there might be like some similarity of it if it's in the same topic or genre. But you'll realize that a lot of these, the deeply rooted beliefs, are going to start playing out when you meet yourself at these edges. So that's why it's so important to not just use these tools once, but to understand that this is something that you're really dedicating yourself to. Because once you just keep committing to doing the work, to do the personal growth work, to do the personal development, to rewire your mind, to regulate your nervous system, it just becomes a way of being. But it is also spiritual, mental, energetic, emotional maintenance that you're doing. It's spiritual hygiene, shall we call it? Because at the end of the day, just like if you want to keep your body healthy, we brush our teeth at least twice a day. Even though we brush our teeth in the morning, that doesn't mean we don't have to brush our teeth at night. And just because we brush our teeth at night doesn't mean that we don't have to brush our teeth in the morning, right? So we're used to doing things like this to take care of this human body that we have. But the body is one aspect of this entire human experience and you living and you being. And while of course it's necessary to take care of your human on a physical level, there's also other levels, emotional, energetic, spiritual, mental, that you really need to take care of yourself on, because if you don't maintain them, that's when you could fall back into old patterns, old routines, old habits, old behaviors, old thoughts. That's why it's good to really incorporate these things into your routine, into your way of living, or have, not necessarily have to do it every day, but do have like a day of the week that you do them. Have you integrated one thing into your morning routine? Do you do something, or at least when you notice that these edges are coming up, when you notice these limiting beliefs are coming up, when you notice that dysregulation is occurring, are you taking a moment to clean it up so that way you're doing the maintenance in the moment? And are you also aware of the parts of yourself where you might really actually have to dedicate more time, more energy, more consistency into rewiring these beliefs, into installing these behaviors, because they are so deeply rooted? And a perfect example of that is money. You will always be doing money work. You will always be doing money work. It doesn't matter if you are working up to get to 5K, 10K, if you're working up to 100K, there's always money work. It doesn't matter what level you're at. So that's just one of the things that you're committed to doing. If you want to be a wealthy person, if you want to be financially free, you're just dedicating yourself to doing the work until you become a wealthy person that can navigate being in this 3D lack-based matrix. And then when you notice you've met yourself at an edge, like continuing to go back to the work. But this is something that you really want to dedicate yourself to. These are practices that you really want to keep coming back to. And tapping, like, you will learn the tapping points. You'll know how to do them. So then it's just like reciting different tapping things. You'll learn how to do it on yourself. But when you understand the tapping points, when you understand how tapping works, then it's something that you can always come back to. Now, a lot of the NLP exercises that I've walked you through, that's something that you're probably going to have to press play on just because it is an exercise that you're being walked through. Now, guided meditations, that's something you don't need to be guided. You can meditate on your own. With hypnosis, you can do self-hypnosis. So there's ways that you can adapt a lot of these things into your lifestyle without having to press play on something. But it is something that no matter how it looks for you, whether you're just coming back to certain modules, certain practices, whether you're incorporating it every day, incorporating it while you're in a season where you're really trying to strengthen your belief system in a certain area, if you're really trying to change your self-concept deeply in that area. But at the end of the day, this is a commitment. This is a dedication. This isn't about how fast can I manifest something. This isn't about how quickly can I get it, because there's a whole conversation of, would you be ready if you got all of the things? I had that conversation the other day, yesterday, in my AOMU group coaching call. So if you're in the membership, make sure you watch that group coaching call, because it was So good. It was so good. This is why my memberships are always a year-long commitment, because I really want you to dedicate yourself to doing this work, so that way you really do effectively install these new beliefs and this new self-concept, so that way you're able to show up as that person because you were lazy in your self-development, because there was nobody there holding you accountable. The thing is, though, once you really dedicate yourself to doing this work for a year, then that's exactly what it becomes. Instead of personal development work, which seems like there's more to do to it, there's a lot of changing. It's that unlearning process. Instead of it being personal development work, it then just becomes spiritual maintenance, personal development maintenance, energetic maintenance, whatever term you want to use. But it becomes maintenance. It becomes something that you have taken care of. So now you're just keeping it clean, and it gets to be a lot easier. It doesn't have to take as much time. You get to notice it quickly. You might find that you really rely on a lot of these practices at the beginning of your journey. And then once you've really done that work for about a year, you might find that you might have your own unique way of doing the processes, or something that you needed to take time away from your day to really look at, to rewire, to regulate. You're now able to do more in the moment because you've become practiced in doing this work, because you've raised your energy, because you've done a lot of the mindset work already. But I see a lot of people trying to approach manifestation at this like get rich quick scheme type of energy. And that's not the vibe. That's not the vibe. We're here for a personal evolution. We're here to become somebody that can handle having the most beautiful life experience while also living with the duality of the fact that there's pain, despair, and a lot of negativity going on in this world that you're still currently living in, even though you're living your best life. So it's not about trying to rush to get to that place. Manifestation is a journey. It's not the destination. It's about who you're becoming in the process. It's about the generational curses that you're breaking. It's about the ancestral wounds that you're healing. It's not just for you. It's for also the collective that you're doing this work. But the work gets easier. It does. It's just one of those things, though, that you've got to just commit yourself to doing, and it gets to look unique. It gets to be based on what works best for you. Somebody that is a single dog mom like me is going to have a completely different schedule than somebody that is a single mom of 3 kids working 2 jobs. We're going to have different schedules, but it's about finding a way to make it work and not using your lack of time or how busy you are as an excuse, but making it really work in your schedule. So today I really just felt called to share that with you, to make sure that you're realizing that these are likely things that you're going to be doing more than one time, just because of the fact that we have a lot of limiting beliefs as a society, just because of the fact that you were raised by people that had a lot of limiting beliefs. You have a lot of programs that were installed in you that are not supportive to you living your happiest, healthiest, and wealthiest life. So there's nothing wrong with you. I know that sometimes we can feel like that, or sometimes it can be like, why me? Like, why do I have to keep doing all this work? Like, other people are just completely unconscious to doing this. Sometimes I envy them. And it's like, yeah, we're all at that point every once in a while. Your mission here on this planet during this lifetime is much greater than some other people. And when you have a bigger calling, it's going to require more out of you. And a lot more challenges. Challenges are how we grow. That's how we grow, right? So when you understand that the work that you're doing is really going to transform your life, but stop needing it to happen right away and just allow yourself to notice the shifts that are actually happening. When you can celebrate yourself for doing the work while you're going through it and realizing, oh, wow, like I just reacted differently, or, oh, wow, I have a different belief system that I'm noticing running throughout my head all day long, or, oh, wow, like I handled that situation so well. When you can give yourself credit for going through these things and witnessing the fact consciously that you have shifted on an unconscious level, that's where the beauty really lies. And at the end of the day, everything you're looking for outside of you is already in you. It's just, you might not be programmed to see it, or you might not be programmed to feel it just yet, but it's a matter of time, right? It's a matter of time. And the fact that you are called to this work shows that you're destined for greatness, whatever greatness looks and feels like for you. But just know that this is the work that's really going to help you to manifest on autopilot what you desire to experience, because we got so deep into your unconscious mind, because we learned how to regulate our nervous system, because we learned the work that's really going to move the needle forward. But remember that we're not looking for immediate evidence that what we're doing is working, because the evidence that it's working is us. us. Like, you guys know my famous tagline, you've got to be the evidence until you see it. So trust that this is working. Notice the areas where you feel like you need to clean up more. Pay attention to the practices that feel like they're really powerful for you, the ones that feel like they're moving a lot. Go back to those ones, replay those ones. If you haven't yet bought this program, what are you doing? Or join AOMU so you've got access to it. Today was more of a, let's just channel what the universe wants me to tell all of the people, and to make sure that you understand that this is a practice that you're going to be doing for a long time. So have fun with it. Celebrate yourself in the process, and allow yourself to realize that there's always going to be more work. It doesn't need to be so heady or so hefty, but it's about coming back to these practices and remembering that these are the practices that are really going to help you get to where you desire quickly. And then the caveat there is we're not needing it to come quickly, because we're holding that feeling inside of us. We're holding that belief inside of us. We have that self-concept embodied. So we're just moving now as this new version of us who thinks differently, who speaks differently, who feels differently, who acts differently. And because we are different, the universe is going to show up differently. So I want to say thank you so much for being a part of this challenge, whether you were here for the free version or whether you were here in the paid version. I'm so grateful to have you in my world. If you're somebody that's in the membership watching this, I fucking love you guys. You are the best community ever. I'm so grateful to connect with all of you. If you have any additional breakthroughs or anything that you want to share with me, my DMs are always open to you. I'm so excited to see what manifests for you. I'm so excited to be a part of your journey, no matter whether I see you again or this is like you're out for a minute, whatever it is. I wish you the best, and I'm so grateful that you're here. And until the next program, until the next video, until the next time you hear me or see me, have the most amazing day, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.